The art of listening. Listening is the beginning of understanding. All positive human relationships begin with effective listening. It is about effectively absorbing the speaker's message and showing that you are interested in the information being shared. In so doing, you also give feedback or reaction to what is being shared through verbal or non-verbal communication. But listening is not the act of hearing the words spoken, it is the art of understanding the meaning behind those words. So communication breakdowns are often caused by misunderstanding which are rooted in ineffective listening. Even though there are noise and barriers, if one truly wants to listen, he or she finds ways as achieving effective communications begin with effective listening. Listening involves a lot of skills depending on the purpose of listening and the types of listening. So this lesson provides you the avenue to get a closer look at the skill of listening in all its important angles. So Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen emphasized that a powerful way to connect to another person is to listen. If we give our attention, we allow the other person to feel important and valued. Have you tried talking and no one was listening, or at least showed interest in listening? How did you feel? So let's differentiate listening and hearing. Hearing is an accidental and automatic brain response to sound that requires no effort. So we are surrounded by sounds most of the time. For example, we are accustomed to the sounds of trucks, lawn mowers, the rattling of pots and pans, and so on. So we hear those incidental sounds, and unless we have a reason to do otherwise. So we train ourselves to ignore them. So we learn to filter out sounds that mean little to us. Our ears perceive sounds, and hearing these sounds does not automatically qualify as the act of listening. Obviously, when the sound enters our ears, this has something to do with the physical process of perceiving it. This is hearing. Listening is active, focused, and concentrated attention for the purpose of understanding the meanings expressed by a speaker. So listening, on the other hand, is purposeful and focused rather than accidental. As a result, it requires motivation and effort. When the sound being heard are processed mentally, which obviously requires effort and focus, this now becomes listening. So types of listening. We may not be very aware as it comes naturally, but when we listen, we actually have numerous reasons. These reasons are the basis for the type of engagement we have when listening. So let us familiarize ourselves with these types so that we can improve and become critical thinkers and evaluation of the information we receive. So appreciative listening happens when we enjoy the message for the sake of enjoyment, like listening to your favorite song. So there are a few reasons we practice appreciative listening. The presentation itself may be appealing to us. So nobody wants to listen to someone who grates on our nerves. So if the presentation is appealing, we will likely relish the experience more. So turning on your radio or Spotify app to listen to the music you have chosen is an example of appreciative listening. So you enjoy the sounds heard, right? So aside from the music, there are also speakers whom we are fun to listen to. We listen to them and appreciate their sharing and the manner of sharing the information or message. So the emphatic listening is a people-oriented type of listening where focus is placed on understanding the speaker and his or her point of view. So bad news is just a part of life. So when your friends share something unpleasant with you, emphatic listening is probably the best way to go. So it involves emotionally connecting with another person using compassion. So empathy is like feeling the shoe or situation of another. When you listen and try to understand, then be with the person in terms of his or her message and conviction, you are emphatically listening. So don't mistake it for sympathy. Empathy is different. So it is about understanding another person, seeing the situation through their eyes when we listen with empathy. So we are less interested in facts. So our goal is to grasp the situation as they feel it. So comprehensive listening. So what is comprehensive listening? It's a content-oriented type of listening where the listeners focuses on making sense of the message. So when your favorite celebrity chef is making a recipe, you have been dying to try. So you are probably all ears. You hang on every step, trying hard not to miss 1 second of the demonstration. This is comprehensive listening. And we do this when we are listening to. For example, most of the time we listen to get information from our professor. So this is active listening. It requires your focus or concentration to better get the details and the essential information. So aside from concentration, comprehensive listening also requires active participation on the part of the listener. And the last is the critical listening. Occurs when one listens for sake of analyzing, critiquing, and making judgments about the speaker or the message. So when you listen to evaluate, you are moved to analyze the message, right? So just like when you participate in a debate, there is a need to listen and be critical to the points presented by the opposing team. So then, you decide if the information is valid. So critical listening is basically looking at the content of the message and making judgments on its validity.
Purposes of listening. One important life skill is the ability to listen effectively. The purpose of listening are the reasons why we listen to someone or something. 1. To understand the message being sent or communicated. This means to grasp the meaning and intention of what the sender wants to convey. It is important to understand the message to prevent misunderstandings, conflicts, and errors. Number 2. To gain the perspective of the speaker's ideas and his point of view. Means to try to understand what the speaker is thinking, feeling, and what they are saying. In here, it involves listening carefully, asking questions, showing empathy and respect. Next, to critically evaluate what is said. You are going to analyze and judge the relevance of the topic to help us to identify the strengths and weaknesses, also to detect biases. 4. To monitor nonverbal signals. You are going to monitor their facial expressions, their gestures, and also body language. 5. To indicate that we are interested or paying attention. To show the speaker that we are following his or her message or paying attention, showing verbal cues like and a non-verbal cues such as eye contact, smiling, and reacting. 6. To encourage open and honest communication. In here, you are going to share your thoughts, feelings, and opinions without fear of judgment or criticism. 7. To be considerate of the speaker. With this, you are going to show some respect. Having an agreed views and understanding. Each of you are going to talk about possible solutions that you both agreed. Barriers to effective listening. These are the factors that prevent or interfere to receive, process, and respond to the messages. Tired or unwell. If your body, your physical and mind are fully drained, expect that you are not able to listen carefully to the topic of the speaker because you are considered exhausted. In other terms, we lose interest. Negative previous experience. It affects your perception and interpretation, and the message may look uninterested. Example, if you had a bad experience with a salesperson in the past, you may not listen to another salesperson who tries to offer a product or services. Last, preoccupied doing other tasks. In this case, it reduces our ability to focus on the speaker's message. Example, when we get distracted by other tasks such as checking our phone. 10 steps to effective listening. Step 1. Face the speaker and maintain eye contact. It can also avoid you to distractions and focus on the message. Step 2. Be attentive but relax. In some cases, you are able to use your body language to show that you are comfortable. Step 3. Keep and open-minded. Step 4. Listen to the words and try to picture what the speaker is saying. This helps you to understand the speaker's point of view and visualize their example. 5. Don't interrupt and impose your solutions. Let them finish their thoughts without cutting them or changing the topic. You are also not able to give your opinions until they ask you. Step 6. Wait for the speakers to pause and ask clarifying questions. It helps you to check your understanding and asking some questions like, what do you mean by that? Step 7. Ask questions only to ensure understanding. Step 8. Try to feel what the speaker is feeling. This is you are going to show your compassion and support. Step 9. Give the speaker regular feedback. And the last, pay attention to what isn't said to nonverbal cues. Let them interpret what they imply or suggest.